So sporting icons, it's great to finally talk to you. Much respect. You've been doing it a long time. Tell us about your background and tell us about your YouTube channel.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on, and firstly, apologies for taking so long with it. I know you've been inviting me for, I don't know, a hot minute now, haven't you? I don't know if I've been doing YouTube 4 years, 5 years, maybe, something like that. Yeah, about 5 years, I think, maybe. I mean, I suppose, if we went back to, say, the beginning of it all, I mean, I didn't expect to really be doing it a few years later, if that makes sense. You know, my whole aim in the beginning was to get to 1,000 subscribers, hit 1,000 subscribers, and then just close the channel. That's it, done. That was the original plan. But I don't know, it seems to have taken off, and Dillian reached out to me in the very beginning, and things just took off from then. I thought, you know what, let's just see where it goes.
I didn't know that. So Dylan, I've known Dylan a long time. What, Dylan reached out to you?
Yeah, well, he started following me on Twitter, and then it's kind of like a backwards and forwards. I've like a couple of DMs, like, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, listen, if you ever want to do an interview or something, let's do an interview, because I had always said I'm never going to interview boxers because I don't want to have that emotional connection with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I thought, yeah, you know what, just do it. And then I practiced on, who did I practice on? Ian Lewison.
Okay.
Remember him?
Of course, I interviewed Ian recently. I've known him a long time. Yeah.
I found him very, very difficult to interview. Very, very difficult. Ian Lewison, that is.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
He kept speaking about himself as a third person. He kept saying, yeah, Ian Lewison do this and Ian Lewison do that. And then I answered questions like 1 or 2 words. I thought, I'm not too sure if I can do this. So I did the interview with Dillian. Everything went fine, and things just skyrocketed from then. I thought, hold up, this is a little bit easier than what I thought it was going to be. And then obviously since then, other professionals kind of like see the interview with like a Dillian, and then some will agree with my opinion, some will not. And yeah, I think just took off from then. But then over the last year and a half, I've deliberately slowed it down. Well, I've been concentrating on a lot of the Northeast fighters. So I've been interviewing like the local talent, trying to help them with a profile, filming the fights at the shows, all that kind of thing, rather than just do the mainstream stuff.
Okay, I've noticed that, yeah.
But I think that once in a while, you do have to do the mainstream stuff to keep your core subscribers happy, you know, and especially lately, obviously, there's like a lot of news with like a Fury and White. Previously, one of my biggest ones was the whole Wilder Joshua situation back then. And boxing seems to me, and I'm sure that you agree, it's a never-ending soap opera. It's like one big episode of EastEnders.
Yep.
There's always something going on all the time. And to be honest with you, I called myself sporting icon because you asked me there in the beginning, like what the background was, because I wasn't just going to cover boxing. Had I known that boxing was going to pretty much overtake my life, I'd have called it boxing icons or something like that. But then, of course, when you reach like a certain point, you think, okay, I can't really change the name anymore.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Well, you said that too. You've been doing this for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah, I started doing videos in 2010. I actually used to interview boxers before Coogan did. Yeah. But, but obviously a lot of people don't understand, but I gave up for a few years. I lost interest. In the highlight, I actually sparred Brandon Mills and Kelly Pavlik on camera in 2012. I actually sparred Devin Haney when he was 14. I was 21. Then I sparred Tyson Fury in 2014. And then not long after Tyson, I sparred Sandy Ryan, both of them on camera. And I was a different person then. I just thought, I had to look at boxing. I thought the lifestyle was too difficult. And then when I sparred Sandy Ryan, Yeah, she was too hard. Like I thought I could take her, but she beat me up. So I thought, you know what, if a woman can do that. At the time, I really wanted to spar people like Carl Froch and Mia Carton. But I thought if a woman can do that, Carl Froch might put me in hospital. So, you know, I don't really but I was different then. I thought I don't really fancy, I don't want to keep getting punched in the head anymore. So yeah, just sort of walked away for a while. And next thing you know, it's like 5, 6, 7 years. I haven't done a video. But I started doing it again in like 2020. I'm back, you
Mm.
know. But it's all right, it doesn't matter. I mean, the past is the past. Things are going extremely well right now. But something I was, you sort of touched up on it. When you mentioned the sort of pressure from fans, 'cause a lot of people don't seem to understand the way they talk about me. I say I'm soft spoken and I'm polite, but ultimately I'll just do whatever I want. So the thing
Mm.
people don't seem to realize, a lot of people, when you're leaving comments and negativity on my channel, you can leave it. It doesn't really bother me because look, there's billions of people on the planet. You're entitled to an opinion. If you don't like me, that's cool. But what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to spar people. I want to spar Deji and KSI and Roy Jones and so on. So when they say stuff to me like, "Oh, you're not doing enough videos on this and that," it's all well and good. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. If you want to watch, you can watch. If you don't, you don't. How do
Mhm.
you feel though? Do you ever feel a lot of pressure from fans, and how do you respond to it?
I used to. I used to. I used to read like a comment religiously. It's like all the time. I mean, even now. I mean, obviously, when I first started, what 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, we didn't have that YouTube Studio app, which will like so we can use to go through all the latest comments. So if you comment on a video of mine of 3 years ago, I will see it pop up. But so nowadays, I read a lot of comments, but I think I've had that much abuse. I think I'm thick-skinned to it now. But then sometimes, and it's wrong of me, and I should apologize to it, but I probably never will. I will react because, say, for example, latest situation, you've got Tyson Fury, Dillian White. Obviously, I'm Team Dillian White.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And as much as I do rate Tyson, of course I rate Tyson Fury, and I've been a fan of his ever since he turned like a professional. But the reaction of some of his fans, the way that they go in and some of the things that they say, I'm like, you know what? I actually enjoy annoying you. And I will deliberately put out content just to get a rise out of them. And I know it sounds petty, but it's like, I know that they're getting personal with it. I get like personal messages and I get social media attacks. I want to kill you. I want to kill your family. I'm doing this. I'm like, good, because I'm winning, you know. But going back to the pressure of it, obviously I'm talking about the pressure of me doing, say, for example, not covering the hot topics so much like I used to. I mean, I used to pump out like 6 or 7 videos a day at like a one time, but now I'll probably do a couple here and there. But doing the Northeast, obviously interviewing like Stephen Robinson, Georgia O'Connor, April Hunter, and Joe Laws, Lewis Ritz, and all these kind of ones. That's really what's a bit important to me. British boxing has always been important to me, more so than world boxing. But I enjoyed doing the local ones. But to keep, how do I put it? So if I interview, say, I know, Joe Laws, maybe I'll do 1,000 views, because obviously people don't watch people who they don't really know, if that makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
So if I just keep on doing the mainstream ones once in a while, then obviously the subscriber comes in, like the more subscribers and the more people will watch, and then it's more chance of people watching the Joe Laws, the April Hunters, the Stephen Robinson, Georgia O'Connors, etc. If that makes sense. I mean, if I could just do the Northeast and not do the mainstream anymore, I'd probably do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, you take it a day at a time, and look, with me, I'm very chill. So it's not, I am thick skinned, but it's not even about being thick skinned. The quickest way I can explain it, but a lot of these people don't seem to realize, like the way I look at it, when you say things about me, I don't know any of you. So if you like me, don't like me. And where people have threatened me before, or like I actually got some threats today. Someone was saying, yeah, he wants me to meet him in London. So I gave him some cheeky replies back. I said, look, you're not really worth my time. I said, but if you're serious that you want to punch me up, just come to one of my fights, just jump me outside. And that's the way we've ended. And yeah, if I ever catch you in London, I'm gonna do this and that. Yeah, I've said, all right, good luck, you loser. If you want to beat me up, do it. Make sure you bring your friends with you. Maybe I'm probably going to stop saying it because it's getting boring now. The reason I've said things like that to people, in my mind, is one or two things. First of all, I don't think you're going to have the guts to do it. And even if you do actually try to do it, I mean, look, I've been getting punched in the head for years. So, I mean, you're not going to scare me. And just bring it on. It doesn't bother me. So that's what I'd say about people online. I don't really know you. You know, I don't. If you like me or don't like me, it'd be different if the police came up to me and we're going to arrest you in connection with the murder of so and so. Then I'm actually going to have to respond. But if it's just like some random people online, like mate, good luck. Yeah, I don't need any of you to like me. If you want to watch, watch. If you don't. You know, so that's I just get on with it really.
It does make you wonder though, doesn't it? What is it that we do that will make people go out of their way to message you, to either hurl abuse or threaten you? I mean, do you really care what another YouTuber thinks? Because essentially, we're just human beings with an opinion.
I don't say honestly, the way I would say it, it just doesn't bother me because I've said cheeky things back. I'm going to take this opportunity to any of the people that threaten me. I'm honestly telling you my advice. Start doing some training, start lifting some weights, build yourself up, and then just come to one of my fights. Jump me outside. Do it if you want. I don't care. You know, am I going to call the police? I don't really want to. Especially if it's like a one-on-one fight and I lose, I'll just take the L. Like, don't lie and say he's gonna call the police. Mate, if it's just a fight, I mean, it's your word against mine. Like, if there's no camera footage, mate, I'd just rather go home and sleep. Like, I'm not gonna wait for the police to come and this and that. And so, if you really want to do it, then just do it. But I'm not. It's not your. It's just silly. That's how I look at it. You know, you've got grown men messaging me, or if they are grown men, maybe they're 12-year-olds. But I'd say, but anyone who thinks I'm what's the word I'm looking for? If you think you're gonna scare me, I wouldn't be talking like this on camera, would I? I think you're all losers. You've got a problem, come get me then. It's not as if I'm hard to find. No, but just look, good luck. I'm not I wish you all good luck. I wish you all the best in life, but I don't really know what you want. And oh yeah, here's a quick one. But then why don't they just set up their own channels? What's special about sporting icons? What's special about me or IFL? There's nothing. We're just people. We just set up a channel and did it. So I don't feel that I'm better than anybody. I feel my achievements are better. But if you lot were to put 2 years, 5 years into it, you might achieve more than me. Get a team around you. Because how many YouTube channels do I see? They build their little teams. You've got women's fight news, and people come up with all these names. There's some woman called October Red Boxing, and you've got sporting icons. You've got Emperor Michael, IFL behind, etc. So whatever brand you have, come up with it and overtake me. But if you're not going to come into the real world, then I don't understand why you expect me to care. You know, so I think I'm saying something positive. I'm not trying to look down on any of you, but or get some money, fund someone else, pay someone to set up a YouTube channel on your behalf. But there's no point messaging me like I'm going to listen to people I've never met. I don't even listen. Look what happened with me and Tommy Fury. Like I don't even listen to people face to face. And it's only because he ran off. I was about to go in hard, you know. But then I'm going a bit off point. What would you say? Have you ever had a similar reaction to what Tommy Fury did?
I've had no. I mean, with like our fighters, they one day I just find that I'm blocked by them.
Wow.
Like Wilder and that, for example. Even though I've never spoken to Wilder on social media, I'm just blocked. Wow. On his Instagram, on his Twitter, I'm just blocked. Even though I've never once interacted with him on there. I interviewed Richard Riakporhe on a couple of occasions, and the first time I ever done it, he pulled me up on a fight review that I'd done on him where he beat Sam Hyde. And I mean, he really busted Sam Hyde up. He had like a huge lump and that on his head and everything. And I did a fight review, and I'm saying that the problem you're going to have, Richard, is that every time you get hit, you show that it's hurting. You need to develop like a poker face and things like that. And anyway, he pulled me up to say, okay, well, this is what you said, blah, blah, blah. And thank you. Thank you for actually saying it. Thank you for actually putting it out there in the public. Because now he's very poker faced when he fights. But as far as people, I mean, I've interviewed, I don't know how many people I've interviewed now, hundreds. But I've never really had anybody who's like ran off. I've had people who don't really interview with me again. And I think one of them's Eddie.
Wow. Well, Eddie Hearn?
I think so. I don't exactly know what his problem is, but I can only put it down to, I mean, I could be way off, I don't know. The fact that when Dillian Whyte was chasing the mandatory position and Dominic Brazil was mandatory, do you remember that?
Of course, yeah.
And I said to Eddie, why aren't you making that fight? And he says, well, you know what, we're looking at the Derek Chisora rematch. I went, why? That's not going to get him a world title shot. That's just going to get him some money. Yeah, but, you know, because the fans don't really know who Dominic Brazil is, and you know, it's not really a big fight, but with Derek Chisora, it's good money and fans are calling for it. And I'm like, fans ain't calling for it, but yeah, it's good money, but that ain't going to get Dillian Whyte into a mandatory position. And from that moment, he seems to have been a little bit shirty. And I did message him and I called him an arrogant prick.
Wow. You said, oh, where'd you message him?
Oh, on his email. And he responded and said, oh, sorry about that, blah, 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 blah. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to ignore it.
Yeah,
because
I can't believe you actually. Yeah, sorry.
Because for me, it's like it's more about respect, you know. If, for example, I text Dillian, for example, I say, listen, do you want to do an interview later on? And he says, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. But then you don't turn up. That'll irritate me a little bit. If he then says, no, I can't do it today, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, cool. But then tomorrow doesn't happen. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. And that's kind of what I felt like it was with Eddie Hearn. I felt like he was getting a little bit above it. And then he's saying, oh, you know, come to the press conference and then we'll do an interview. I was like, right, okay, cool. So I go to the press conference and I'm seeing a queue of people, and you know what press conferences are like, right?
Yep.
People who don't go to them and do the interviews just think it's a case of you just walk in, walk straight up to Eddie, blah, blah, blah. There you go, interview. It ain't like that. And I'm a very impatient person. So I ain't going to stand in the queue. I ain't doing it. So then it kind of got to a point where I go to like a few press conferences and I thought, you know what, he's coming up, he's saying hello, how are you, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm running out of time because I know they all seem to do like press conferences around like 1:30, don't they?
Yeah.
And I've got to go pick up my school, my son from school at like 3:00. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be queuing up. I'm messing around. Then after a while, he's like, all right, don't worry about it. Just go get your lad, and we'll do one at like another time. Maybe we'll do it on like an internet, kind of like a Zoom or something like that. I'm like, okay, no worries, we'll do that. And then nothing. I was like, you little bat. I thought he just having me on. And then of course I'll I'll go to like a few press conferences and then I would just deliberately just not interview him on purpose. But his dad's great. Have you ever met his dad?
Of course, I've interviewed him before, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was the first person to do like a complete biography with him, interview form. And I get the impression he's a complete opposite to Eddie. How many times have you interviewed Eddie?
Quite a few times over the years, quite a few, and yeah, I've spent plenty of time watching him around people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've interviewed him quite a few times. It's a shame I've deleted them, but I've got one Eddie interview up at the minute.
Yeah.
Well, what did you want to hear my opinion of him?
Yeah, go on.
Well, I just think I'll sum it up
I
very
like him, by
well.
the way.
Hmm?
I said I do actually quite like him, by the way. I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just saying that much.
No, but I'll say it quickly. It's not even with me. Some things that I've said about people in boxing recently, but it's weird how you and me we're not allowed to give our opinion, and people say I'm hating on certain people like Porky, or I'm just giving my opinion. So yeah, with Eddie Hearn, I think most of what I'm going to say is going to be nice. I think he's very misunderstood. I think you've misread things with him, in my opinion. So I'll give you a different perspective. Eddie's a very busy guy who gets a ridiculous amount of interview requests. I've got to give him credit. The amount of interviews he's willing to do with even small channels is for anybody, for any celebrity, because that's basically what he is. It is very impressive. If I was in his position, I wouldn't be given that kind of interview access. I don't mean it in an arrogant sense, but I'd be trying to get on the Jonathan Ross show. I'd be trying to get on Alan Carr. What's the other one? Graham Norton. He's got that, but to give interviews to people that, like even my channel, obviously with me you could sort of argue. Obviously, I've known him on a personal level in boxing circles. I've known him for a long time, so maybe that's why I get access. But when he's giving interviews to people that have got hundreds of followers, you got to give him credit for that, because not a lot of people would. So I'd say in your situation, as far as I'm aware, yeah, I don't think he was mugging you off or messing you around, because by the time he's finished the press conference, he's got home and he probably forgot to get in touch with you. So do you think that might have been the case?
Oh yeah, of course. And I mean, I already thought about that. I mean, it's not really the interviews. It really isn't. It's just like some other bits and that with him as well.
Give me an
I found
example.
that lately.
Yeah.
I found that lately, ever since he left Sky Sports, I felt like, and in fact, even before he left Sky Sports, I felt like his content is really dipping.
It is, yeah.
It is, isn't it? It ain't just me. And I thought, I don't know. It's like you're spoken to Ben Shalom, right? He's a cool
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, cool guy.
Frank Warren, I've never spoken to, so I can't make comment on him. I can't. Phil Jeffries, and I mean, there's so many promoters that are out there that I think should be given a bit of a bunk up, if you like. And I'm seeing Eddie going how and nobody can touch me. I'm the best in the business. Blah blah blah. And I'm looking at like this young lad Ben Shalom, and already in his very very short time, is starting to catch him. When I don't mean in the level of maybe views and of course celebrity fighters. I don't mean that. I mean the quality of the shows. The fact that Ben Shalom and Boxer, they started off again from scratch, didn't they? They had to go to the small hall circuits and bring fighters in just so they can put out content. But I'm finding that Eddie's going, oh, there ain't nobody out there who can do this. And then, of course, he's starting to take digs at like Sky Sports of saying, well, they never did this when I was there and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, why are you doing that? He's starting to turn into a person. I mean, again, I might be wrong on this one. He's starting to turn into a person that the person that he used to criticize. When he looks at, say, Frank Warren, he looks at Bob Arum, he looks at Al Heyman saying that they're mad at me because I'm doing something. I'm starting to see it from him that he's mad at Sky Sports now.
I'd say, yeah, I do agree, definitely. I think Adam Smith is showing a lot of class, but even with me, even Adam Smith has got a lot of class, and so do I. So I'll explain where I'm going with this, but I've said a few things about Frank Warren on camera, and it's funny. Like, this is the thing about YouTube comments. It's like when you get some people, I said some negative things about Frank, and I actually got some people. Who are you? You're nobody. Frank Warren's never even heard of you. He's never even heard of you. I'm like, really? Frank Warren's never heard of me yet? the same Frank that once wanted to sue me, really. So
Really?
that's why you oh yeah, we'll go into it another time. It's well, we sort of fell out. I was asking him questions about Mike Tyson, and yeah, that's sort of where we first fell out. And then I did. It's like going back to 2012. Then I did some videos on Frank, and also I'm not the only person. I mean, how many people has he tried to sue? Dave Coldwell, Coogan Cassius. But yeah, so this person actually goes, "Oh, Frank Warren doesn't know who you are." Well, actually, I think he does, because you know, if you threaten to sue someone, I think they know who you are. So I can articulate this very well. I've said a few things about Frank recently, and I was taking the mick out of him, like when Sonny Edwards left him. But I've already decided. I just, you know what, I've lost all interest. Any past history between me and Frank, I don't care anymore. If the opportunity came up for me to work with Frank, I'll do it. I don't care. So going back to what you're talking about, I'm 31. For me to show that level of maturity, but Eddie Hearn is not. If I was going to question him, I'd make him look very silly, and I'd say, but then it's the same with a lot of people in boxing. I watch a few of the interviews, and I'd say, but you know, like these people, like with Umar, who I get on very well with, but you keep going up to these people, you keep saying Frank said this, Eddie said that, and it's just childish, because I'm 31. Now, if I'm saying I'm willing to forget anything that's happened between me and Frank in the past, if Frank Warren wanted to work with me, I'll work with him. Like, you know, like I'll go into detail another time. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, it is very childish on Eddie's part, but then I'd say boxing's a very childish world. You know, you're getting people with clickbait, and like Umar, like I do like him, but you're getting up to people and you're asking them questions about, Eddie said this about you. What do you think? And I'll give you. I said to Umar, he did this one video with Frank, and Frank Warren was having a go at Eddie Hearn. Oh, you know, who does Eddie Hearn think he is? Why does he keep talking about the Fury White fight? It's got nothing to do with him. And I said to Umar, what you should have done when Frank said that, you should have jumped in and said, the only reason Eddie's talking about that fight, from what I've seen, is because people keep asking him about it. So that's not really his fault. But yeah, I do agree with you. There's a lot of childishness in boxing. And Eddie, what's happening? You know, you're saying Conor and Brook are old men and it's not that good a fight, but you're trying to get Conor Ben to fight them. So which one is it? I mean, that's basically what you're saying. So,
right.
And I'll make another quick point. And I'm very intelligent. I think I'm the only person who realizes this or who says it. I would say the biggest problem with Eddie, he thinks he's more important than he actually is, and like he tries to dominate people. So I would say, to the best of my knowledge, the reason Khan Book went over to Ben Shalom, yeah, but it's like, all right, when you're saying stupid things like Khan Book are scared of Con, like, I'm gonna confront Eddie Hearn about that. Because if you look at my record, I've had one amateur fight, I've had 6 white collar. If you gave me the chance to spar Conor Ben, I'll jump in the ring with him tomorrow. I'll do it tonight. I'll do it. So when you're saying, and I'm not any good. So when you're saying people like Khan and Book are scared of Conor Ben, I'm like, I would say that's his biggest problem. How do you think people are going to react to it? What do you mean scared? All right, so if I called Anthony Joshua out to spar me, is Anthony Joshua scared of me, or he just doesn't care about it? So they're not scared of Conor, but you can't fight everybody. So it's not, in their mind, Conor and Book is a genuine rivalry, which has gone back over a decade. But for them to fight Conor Ben, yeah, but come on, you should know better than that. That's not how boxing works these days. You don't just fight every random. I'm not saying I agree with it, but there's no storyline in that. And where do you draw the line? So imagine, say Brook fights Conor Ben and for argument's sake knocks him out. But are you just going to say he's scared of everyone? Okay, he's got to fight Jaron Ennis. He's got to fight Keith. He's got to fight all. You know, they've been around boxing how long? And if they feel they want to retire now, what do you mean they're like that one? Really? When I see Eddie Hearn, I'm going to confront him about that. But when you're saying fighters are scared of each other, I say fighters they're gonna take that as disrespect. I remember Wilder. You remember he was waving the 10-pound around on camera. It depends on the person. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I'm very intelligent. I'm very bright. I can take all this sort of stuff. I don't really care. If you offer me a deal, if I like it, I'll take it. But fighters are generally emotional people. So if you're doing stupid things like waving £10 around on camera or saying personal things, like he doesn't know when to shut up. I mean, you say fighters are scared. Man, I'll spy Eddie Hearn tomorrow, no holding back. So I'm not, but Eddie Hearn wouldn't have that same mentality. Like don't say a fighter is scared of another fighter. Because there's a lot of people I'd be willing to jump in with. Like take Conor Ben. I'm not saying I'll go in with him all out, but I'd spar him. If they said to me, "We need you to sign something that you can't sue," it doesn't sound good, but I'd flip and do it so long as you let me film it. So that's all. If that's my attitude, and don't get me wrong, I know Conor Ben can batter me if he wanted to. How dare you say Khan is scared? So I hope I haven't gone on too long. But how do you think Amir Khan's going to react to that? So now you're going to call this man out, like Kell Brook, all the stuff you said about him. Now you're going to call him up. Kell Brook, I need you to help me out. I need you to fight Conor Benton. Okay, what do you think he's going to say? Like, you've mugged him off all this time. And yeah, okay, how's that conversation going to go? You know? So I say that's Eddie
Exactly.
Hearn's problem. So who's the other one? O'Hara Davies. Look how much he talks about Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn done this. Eddie Hearn done that. I mean, he thinks I'm gonna rip him apart when I see him, because it's like, even with me. If I'll say to him, like, me getting an Eddie Hearn interview doesn't really mean a lot. Yeah, it'll be nice to spar him. I'll say this to him. It'll be nice to spar you, but I don't think you're gonna agree to do it anytime soon. So I'm not gonna sit around and wait for you. I'm gonna go after other people. And even anyway, you're not that famous, because I interviewed Eddie Hearn in September. It's done maybe 1,000 views. I interviewed Deji on Wednesday. It's already got 75,000. I'd rather
Nice.
spar people. So I'm saying, so he thinks he's a lot more important than he is. And he thinks fighters are not children. They're not he's got kids, but you're trying to treat them as if they're kids. And if you annoy them, they're going to go off to other people. And that's what's happening. Depends on the person. People like me or Andre Ward, in my opinion, we can get on with it. But a lot of fighters are emotional. And if you upset them, well, good luck. Good luck trying to, But that's what's happened with the whole Warren and Fury. Fury doesn't like him, does he? You've said things about him in the past, and now he's taking satisfaction. And I'd say that's part of the problem. You say all these disrespectful things about Fury, and so now he's happy that you're shut out. And I'd say, look, a lot of it is Eddie Hearn's own fault. You don't hear Fury talk like that about Ben Shalom. Yeah, I hope I haven't gone on too long, but it's too much of an ego. It's like, I'll give you a quick. Even if Eddie Hearn said to me, even if he said to me, I'm never gonna let you interview me again, or I'm never gonna let you spar me. Well, okay, whatever. I'll just go out. I'll go do other stuff. And I know what Eddie Hearn's like. I don't think he'd do that, but if he did, I'd go off. I'd become famous, and then he'd start trying to chase me again. That's what he does, isn't it? He'll mug you off. Then the fighter will go off. They'll become relevant, and then he'll try and get their time again. But they're gonna remember what you did. So I hope I haven't gone on too long, but that's his problem.
I can totally agree with you on that one. And I think Eddie is, he's a nice guy. He's a pleasant guy. He's never said anything bad to me or anything like that. And it's not the interviews at all. Of course, we can get the interviews. All I do is spend time in the queue. That's not a problem. But it's just the disrespect of other things, It's just, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's arrogance. That's exactly what it is. It's just pure arrogance. And I don't really like arrogant people too much. As in, I can't be in their company for too long. I really can't. But anyway, going on to like a Frank Warren there. I've never interviewed him. I've never really spoken to him.
Yeah,
I really haven't. So, I couldn't tell you, because obviously we hear Eddie saying about how Frank wants interviews scripted. He wants to know what it is that you're going to ask beforehand, and then if he doesn't like it, he'll ask you to pull the interview down or not upload it or cut it. Or, I couldn't comment as to whether or not Eddie Hearn is telling the truth on that one. Do you know if that's true?
Oh, look, that is definitely true. So, okay. Yeah, look, that's definitely true. But look, Eddie Hearn, yeah, he does deserve respect in certain aspects. Like I guarantee Eddie Hearn doesn't ask people, he doesn't ask for questions ahead of time. I've heard that of plenty of people in the industry, other promoters, okay, I won't name them just in case, but yeah, other people have told me stories about Frank. Yeah, it's true. Boy, he's tried having a go at me before about stuff I've said. And I'll say quickly, I mean, but you can just see it from the way they are on camera. You can gauge the way people behave around them. With Eddie, people look more comfortable taking the mick with him. With Frank, people, as you can see, people on tiptoe. So I'm trying to think of a quote. Yeah, Frank and how can I, you can see that they're on tip like Coogan. He's on tiptoe with him, but with Eddie, you can make disrespectful comments. He'll say stuff like, I remember when he said to me about the purse bid. Oh yeah, well, but you lost the purse bid. He'll take cheeky digs at her, but he wouldn't dare do it with Frank. Frank will react.
I haven't seen Coogan interview Frank in a long time.
I'll ask him the next time I see him. I've heard a few people mention that. I can tell you for a fact, Frank has actually threatened to sue him years ago. Yeah, but maybe something's happened. So yeah, I can ask him. Yeah, it's weird, but I'll say quickly. But you can see it. Just watch the interviews with Frank. He's a difficult person to. What I mean? Tell me, have you not noticed that about him?
Yeah, I have. I think that people seem very timid, very unsure if they should be asking certain things. They don't push the button. I mean, for example, like when Umar was asking, or sorry, when Umar had the interview with Frank the other day, and Frank's going on about didn't want not turn up to press conference. Like, have you ever heard of a participant in a world title fight never turned up to a press conference before? It's absolutely disgraceful and blah blah blah. Like,
Fury Klitschko.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry I beat you to it. And then you had I think Tommy Fury. Wasn't there a press conference in America with Jake Paul, but Tommy Fury never turned up.
Yeah.
I'll say it quickly. Like Eddie Hearn's definitely not lying, but then the thing about Frank, I've been banned from his press conferences before. Look, if I wanted to, I could make these guys look like Eddie or Frank. If I did an interview with them, I could make them look very silly. With Eddie, you can do it. With Frank will just have me removed. And when you're saying this thing about with Dylan White hasn't turned up, I could make you look very silly because I'd say, but why? Why hasn't he? What's going on? I said, well, aren't you the same Frank? Didn't he do that stupid little song when Dylan White got knocked out? Ain't no mandatory anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny, but I'd like, come on, like you're a grown man, you're old enough to be Dylan White's father, probably. Like, come on, like you shouldn't be. I've changed as a person. I've stopped saying any silly things about Frank, but to mock a fighter for getting knocked out. All right, so Frank, I mean, what would happen if you got two sons? So what would happen if you put them in the ring with me, or okay, or if you put them in the ring with pros, wouldn't they get knocked out? So I mean, come on, like it's just a very immature thing. If you don't like Dylan White, I mean, just to even have that attitude towards a fighter or another person, even with me, no matter if I dislike a person, I will never take your achievements away from you. But you're just taking the mick. So you're doing stuff like that, ain't no mandatory anymore. You're trying to get Dylan White less money. I think mandatory challenger is entitled to 30% on the paperwork. I only found that out recently, and you've given him 20%. So, I mean, give us a bit of context. Don't just say he hasn't turned up, but there's legitimate reasons. That's what I'm saying. When you mock a guy, look, I could do it. I'm a great talker. I'm very confident. But obviously, some people, if you're going to keep mocking them, and now you're going to call him up and we need you to do us a favor and we need you to come for the press conference. But as far as I'm aware, is Dylan White getting a cut of the pay-per-view? I'm talking objectively. So if he's getting less money than he's entitled to, if he's not getting the pay-per-view, so what does he benefit from coming to the press conference? So but you can't talk to Frank like that. He'll get rid of you. you know. And I mean, you're doing all this ranting and raving. I mean, if it was me, if a fighter doesn't like me, well, just jump on a plane, go to Portugal, sort it out, sit down with him, sort it out as adults. But when you're going on camera and you're saying things about Eddie and Dylan, and I mean, you keep saying about it's a quick point, but then again, I'd make him look very silly because you're saying, what does this have to do with Eddie? Blah 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 blah. But when you watch the interview, like you spent half the time talking about Eddie Hearn, and then you're saying, what does it have to do with Eddie? But you're the one talking about him. I was at that press conference. Adam Smith was there. Eddie Hearn never turned up. So I'm, when you keep talking and talking about Eddie Hearn, and then you're saying to us, Eddie Hearn's got nothing to do with it, but you're talking about him more than the fight. Yeah. Or what about the undercard fighters? Because that fight, you're talking about April 23rd. So that press conference was a few days ago, March. You haven't even told us who the undercard are. So you're spending more time talking about Hearn, but you haven't even told us who the undercard is. So as I wish Frank well, I'm talking objectively, but again, you can't talk to him like that. Eddie will let you do it, but you talk to Frank like that, and that's that. You saw what happened. Yeah, remember Mike Coppinger? Did you see the way Bob Arum spoke to him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and also I sympathize with these journalists because a lot of the fans need to understand. But I'm giving you a bit of perspective. I mean, they get banned or whatever. But don't just say they're cowards because if they get banned, but are you not going to support them? Are you not going to call out for them to be reinstated? So these guys are just going to say, why should we bother? Because when what happened to Mike Coppinger, I give him credit for what he said, but then a lot of people online are laughing at him. So So what's the motivation? Like, take me, mate. I'm not scared of anybody. Like, I'm not scared of Daniel Kinahan. But if I was to start going at Daniel Kinahan and I get shut out by boxing, but what's the benefit for me? The fans aren't going to back me, so why should I do it? If I was to go at Bob Arum's like, oh, he doesn't scare me. But if I'm going to get that response where people are going to, oh, Michael's banned from top, so why should I bother? So it's the same with a lot of the media. I think this is what influences them,
I mean, I've interviewed Bob Arum 2 or 3 times now on podcast. Yeah. Really cool guy. I really liked him. I mean, I don't appreciate looking back at the last ones for the fact that he lied to me about the whole Joshua Fury situation. That annoyed me. But you are right what you say about Eddie. When it comes to the interviews, he is more open. I think he's more approachable than what most other people are. You can pretty much say whatever you're going to say, and he ain't going to ban you because he knows he needs you. He needs you to push his profile. He needs you to push his fights. It doesn't matter whether or not you've got 20 subscribers or 20,000 or 1 million. It doesn't matter. Every one counts. And that's something that I do appreciate with Eddie, the fact that he can look at anybody and give everybody that same kind of time. At the same time, what I don't appreciate is that, he did a press conference. He's booked a train to go back home like an hour and a half later, and he does like a 45-minute interview with IFL, even though he sits on the same damn train with them. That then restricts a lot of people. I don't like, how do I put it? I don't like blocking in the sense of cornering the markets. Do you know what I mean? It's when it comes to like IFL, on fight nights and all that kind of thing, they get unlimited access and all this and the other, which is fine. Of course, they've deserved it. Of course they have, but nobody else gets really a look in. Not even Boxing Social really get a look in.
I don't know. I think they do. I think Boxing Social behind the gloves do.
On the last Matchroom show I went to, Boxing Social weren't allowed backstage.
Which show was that?
This was on a Lewis Ritson one.
Okay.
And Box Social, they weren't allowed backstage until the very, very end, when they could interview Eddie and Lewis Ritson, but that was it.
I'd say, from what I know, I'm very careful about what I say. And what I mean by that, a lot of people, if I don't know something, I'm very quick to say that I don't know, whereas other people talk as if they do know. With IFL 100%, they do get preferential treatment, 100%. I'd say,
Which they have earned, by the way.
Yeah, I'm very objective, and I'm not trying to show off, but I don't really see anyone as competition. I'm the only guy that will spar people, so I'm not, everyone do their thing. I wish everyone well, but Coogan, I met Coogan hasn't got any energy to spar people. So, I mean, if I spar people like Roy Jones and David Hay, and if they say yeah, but I'm not like that anyway. If I think someone's better than me, then it's just life. I'm not going to insult
Course,
you. But I say, look,
course.
Coogan's yeah, look, he's earned it. I'd say he's objectively like I think he's got pretty much the most subscribers. In the UK, definitely. I think there's one or two in America that have got bigger than him. But I'd say he's friends with Eddie Hearn. You'd have to call them friends. He was the first person in the UK to interview Hearn. So obviously they've had a long relationship. Yeah, I think he's been around Eddie's house, and so obviously they've built that relationship. So, and obviously they get the most views. So I think even Setback's got more followers, but then they get more views than Setback does. So, in my opinion, I think Matchroom are very business-minded people. So they're just
Yeah,
trying to say who's going to get us the most views. So about the Lewis Ritson show, I don't know. Yeah, I think look, I think Matchroom do give a lot of access to people. I've got to be careful. I don't know what happened at that Ritson show, so I can't comment on that. But I think Matchroom do give a lot of access, and you do watch afterwards. Boxing social, behind the gloves. They always seem to get these long post-fight interviews. Yeah, but I just say Matchroom are very fair people. I mean,
I think
have you
I
had
think
any?
at
Yeah,
as
go
far
on.
as access go, Boxer, Sky Sports, MTK, Probellum, you get more access with them than you do at Matchroom. On my own personal experience, but I mean, luckily enough for me, my channel isn't based on interviews, so I mean, I could never do another interview again, and I'm fine because obviously that's not what my channel is. The interviews is literally just extra material. But it's when I'm seeing other channels, and of course I won't mention who the other channels are, that
Yeah.
they go to boxing shows here, there, and everywhere, literally week after week after week, and they're not getting that kind of access. And IFLR, and I understand why IFLR, but it's like you're keeping IFL with the content and blocking other people from getting some content as well. These like stopping them from growing. That's how I see it.
But I'd say it's a 50-50. I understand that point, but I'd say, all right, the problem is though, it's a difficult one because you'd argue the case where IFL have built the biggest profile in the UK. The thing is, they get the most views, and then where I've known
Yeah, but
Dominic
why do
Ingle
they?
long. They've been doing it for over 10 years. They've produced the most content because a lot of people. It's funny. A lot of people don't even. Some of the people commenting on my videos, they don't even seem to know what I did in 2010 to 2012, which is understandable because I've deleted all those stuff. But back then it was so much different. There was no. Me and Coogan were doing it before Behind the Gloves even existed. So
Mm.
the thing with Kruger, he's built that relationship up with so many people over time. I went to Pat Barrett's gym on Monday, and Pat Barrett was he was quite awkward. He was nice. I had his phone number. I arranged to come down the gym, but once I started showing him the Kell Brook video, and I didn't say it, but
Mm.
once he sort of realized I wanted to try and spar his for Barrett, yeah, it got very awkward. And he was saying that's clown sparring, or why would I let you spar him? It's silly. I tried pitching it to him. I like him. I'm not saying he's a nice guy. If I wanted to say anything bad, I'll just say it. But what I'm trying to say, Coogan has been through all those. He's been through that with people where he's got past that stage. Whereas with me, I'm still trying to pitch it to him. I said, look, I'm trying to write a book about it, and I'm trying to show people what it's like for someone, a low level person, to get in the ring with a pro. So I'm trying to pitch it to him. And he just basically said, look, it's a serious boxing gym. And look, if you want to box, go join an amateur club. So I thought, right, fair, no problem. But obviously, that's like the second time I've met him now. Coogan has met Pat Barrett and all these other people however many times over the past, 2010. So that's 12 years. So it's a 50-50. I know you're saying it stops people from growing, but then the problem is, okay, here's a quick example. I interviewed Eddie Hearn in September. I think it's done, maybe 1,000 views. When Coogan does it, he'll get 200,000 views in a day or 2 days. So
yeah,
they could bring up
the access, because that's where people will go to, because that's what people are familiar with. Whereas, for example, if you're going to all the shows and if you were given the same access, people will become more familiar with you and go, you know what, let's check out Michael's channel to see what it is that he's talking about with Eddie Hearn. People will keep on coming back. That's what it is. It's all about familiarity. So, for example, okay, let's say that you interview Frank Warren. You have a great relationship with Frank Warren. Okay, you do all these interviews time after time and time after again. I don't interview him. One day I'll interview him. Well, not too many people are going to watch my one because they're not expecting a Frank Warren interview, but they know you're going to. So therefore, they come to you first because it's familiarity.
Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one. I know what you're saying, and I agree. It's a hard question to answer. And see, I'm being very honest where I could attack them, I could have a go at them, but I do sympathize because I tell you what, yeah, if you want, I can dig into Eddie Hearn, I can discuss this subject. I don't know what I can guess what he's going to say. Obviously, he might possibly, but obviously he might try and bring up the time aspect. And if you're talking about people like or as these names you've mentioned, if you're talking about the Eddies and Franks, he could say, look, we're very busy people, we've got families, we've got kids we hardly see, and obviously you want to try and maximize your profile. And then you could bring up, if you look at other sports, we wouldn't be getting this kind of access at all. So he might bring stuff like that up. And he said something.
I'll give you an
once.
Example.
Yeah, go on, please.
Give you an example. Okay, so I've seen, over the last few weeks, I've seen at least 2 channels who interviewed Eddie Hearn, and it's probably about 3 minutes long. And at the end of those interviews, like, right, okay, well, sorry, I've got to go. I'm presuming he's got to catch a train or something like that. So he's given them like a 2 or 3 minutes, which is fine. He didn't have to give them not 1 second as they want to. But on the very same day, a 45-minute interview with IFL. I'm like, well, they can interview at any point. Coogan can turn up to your office at any point. Give these other channels a little bit more time. Does that make sense?
It's all stuff I've thought about. I mean, to me, I'd rather get people in gyms, and also I've got the relationships where I can do that, like with the Ingalls. And 100%, it's all stuff that I've thought about, and I know exactly what you're saying. I'll ask Eddie Hearn the next time I see him, and I don't know if you've
He'll just fob you off. There's no point.
No, that's a bit harsh to say. You can.
He will.
Well, how many times have you interviewed him?
Oh God, I've interviewed him several times.
Yeah, but when you say he'll fob me off, but the thing is, it's not. I say he's an excellent talker, like myself. I could get the answers out of him once I've got enough time, but you need to know how to control that. Okay, I'll give you a quick example. I tell you something. Like when I interviewed him, I had less than 12 minutes. I didn't know it was 12 minutes. I was thinking it was going to be first time I've interviewed him in years. So I thought I should have like a good 30 minutes or whatever. So then I only got the chance to ask one hard question. So I said to him on camera, I said to him, Eddie, why do you talk so much? So I was about to start saying, why does he talk about fights when they haven't been agreed? And why does he keep talking about people's personal lives and so on? But he completely flipped the question. I think, and I'm going to say it to him, I think he's a very bright guy. I think he done it deliberately, because then he started saying, "Oh yeah, but the reason I talk so much is like people like you come up to me and ask for interviews, so I give them interviews. And now that you've asked for an interview, like you're having a go at me." He wouldn't let me get a word in. So I'm trying to. I said, "No, no, Eddie, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant." I think he done it deliberately. And then, as you're saying, so he said what he said, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I gotta go." And I'm like, "What?" I was just about to start getting
Yeah.
hard. So I'd say in response to the point you made, he's gonna fob me off. Well, no, well he can try, but you just got to learn how to control that. Just I'd say just talking a strong. I mean, what's the most time you've ever got with him?
Oh, I don't know. Probably about 25 minutes or something like that. Something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. But I mean, you were right though, because you brought up a brilliant point. Because the very first time I interviewed him, it's like I had like a few questions in my mind. I'm not one for writing down notes, so I never kind of script anything. Even in my regular videos, I don't do it.
Yeah.
So of course, I had like I don't know, a few things in my mind to ask him. I think I probably asked him 2 questions because he doesn't shut up. And then the second time he started to do it, I was like, okay, I need to cut him off to get more questions in.
I'll give you a
So
quick example. I'm sorry to jump. I'll tell you very quickly. I'll let you talk. But now that I've seen it, it's the first time I've interviewed him in years. I don't think he'll be able to fob me off again. This is a very intelligent thing that you could say to him. So I'd say to, if I wanted to, now that you know what he's like, I'd say to him, Eddie, I've got some challenging questions to ask you today. Can you please, because I know we're limited for time, can you please keep your answers as short as you can? And can you please not go off point? And can you please let me finish talking? So I'd say that to him. And then if he does try going off point or whatever, so with Adam Smith gives very, very long answers. If he does go off point, I'd say you say in a strong voice. Remember, it's the first time I've interviewed him in years. So I'm very relaxed. If he tried doing it to me again, I'd shout if I have to, and I'd say, "You're not letting me get a word in." So I'd make that suggestion to you. Like if you're really trying to grill him, I'd say to him beforehand, "Can you don't go on too long and don't go off point like you did to me last time, and don't run off saying." So, do you think that would work, Sporting Icons?
I did it to him. I did that.
Did it work?
I thought, okay, so on one of the occasions I thought, okay, I don't want to be asking like 1 or 2 questions. I really don't want to be doing that. So right beforehand, I got my iPhone and I put down in a notepad, in the notepad on my iPhone, and I wrote down about like several questions, and I said to him, right, let's make this one quick, just some quick fire questions. Boom. And he actually gave me quick fire questions, and it's probably one of the best interviews that I've done with him.
But if I was gonna, I hope I'm not jumping in again.
Yeah.
The one question that I want to ask the most, I'd probably say the one that gets on my nerves is when he says, "I can't stand," when he said Khan and Book are scared of Conor Ben.
Mm.
So if I'm gonna grill him on that, and obviously the way he disrespects fighters, yeah, I'll just say to him, I'll try and. I mean, like, I don't think he could fob me off. Well, okay, if you just say to him, "Look, I'm going to ask you a hard question. Try and keep your answer as short as you can, and don't go off point." And I'll just say, I'd embarrass him. I'd say to him, I'd quote him. I'd find the quotes just in case. I'd say to him on the 20th of March, 2022, you said Khan and Book are scared. And, I'd even print off the articles. So you're saying Khan and Book are scared of Conor Ben. I'd grill him. I'd say, forget Khan and Brook. I'd get in the ring with Conor Ben myself. How are you trying to say that a fighter is scared of fighting? That is a bus driver scared of driving the bus. Is a singer scared of singing? Is a banker scared of going to the bank? Fighters are not scared of fighting. But when you reach the level Khan and Brook have, and when they've done what they've done, obviously, if you're asking them to fight Conor Ben, well, you make it worth their while. If you offer them 50 million to fight Conor Benn, I don't think they're gonna say no. Now, if you offer them, it's like last year I got paid a fight. I got paid £240 in cash. I got fights this year. They've offered me £200 in cash. So that's the sort of level I'm at now. Yeah, I mean, so it's not. It's not. If you ask me to fight Deji or one of these lot for I don't know 100 grand, I'm not gonna say no, am I? But if you ask me to go to Russia, say no, say you ask me to go to France and fight someone for free at white collar level, I'm not gonna do. If you're asking me to do it for free, I'm not gonna go to another country. I've got to pay for the travel. It's gonna cost me hundreds of pounds. The amount of time I'm gonna take off work. And imagine if they say to me, Michael, you got to pay your own travel and accommodation. Well, what, for a white collar fight? Why would I do that? So it's not that I'm scared. Okay, so I'll give you a more simple example. It's like if you talk about sparring Shannon Briggs or David Haye. If David Haye messaged me and yeah, you know, you do a great stuff with your videos and you're always welcome down my gym, we'll have a move around. If David Haye sent me that, I'll see him tomorrow. If Shannon Briggs sent me that message, I'm not scared of Shannon Briggs. Obviously, I know that David Haye and Shannon Briggs could kill me if they wanted to. In my opinion, I don't think they'd take the mick. But if you're asking me to spar Shannon Briggs, I haven't got any vaccination. I'm not going to take it. And I'm not going to fly to America just to spar Shannon Briggs. It's not enough benefit there. So, it's something I can't. I hate when he says they're scared. So I'd actually grill him. It's not about being scared, but it's like you got to make it worth a person's time. So Conor Brook, yeah, I'm saying if I'm going on long, but that is something I'm going to grill him on. You know,
Eddie knows fine well that Kell Brook isn't scared, Amir Khan isn't scared, but he's doing it to try and shame them into taking the fight at a lower price because he believes and wants Conor Benn to be a superstar. Now, I like Conor Benn. I support Conor Benn. I really do. And I want him to win every time he fights. And I can certainly see the progress and he's looking pretty good. But he ain't this superstar that Eddie Hearn believes that he's going to be. And him talking about how he's a superstar and he's going to be a pay-per-view fighter, well, he may be one day. But right now, if you're pushing something down people's throat, they're more likely to reject it.
But I'd say I'll let you talk more. I just need to get this out of my system. Again, but I could embarrass him if I wanted to. 2019, me, Kid Galahad, and Billy Joe Saunders walked around Sheffield Shopping Centre in broad daylight. Only one person recognized Billy Joe Saunders, 12-year-old boy. He asked for a picture and then he went. That's broad daylight. None of the adults. Listen, we were there for 40 minutes. Billy Joe Saunders, they were buying clothes, and it was round about the time he went over to America for the Demetrius Andrade press conference. So he was buying clothes, and Billy Joe Saunders is a very big, distinctive looking person. Nobody said anything. Are you a boxer? Nobody said nothing. So I'd absolutely embarrass Eddie Hearn. Yeah? Now, if that's Billy Joe Saunders, yeah, achieving what he's achieved, and that's Sheffield, nobody recognized him. So when you're saying Conor Benn's a superstar, yeah, if you take the UK, if you take Amir Khan, there's not one street in the UK. If you're talking about a high street, there's not one street I'd say Khan wouldn't get recognized. If you're talking about Conor Benn, I'd bet money that most of the high streets, Conor Benn could walk down one end to the next end without getting recognized. I can't say for certain. If you take Oxford High Street, you know fully well there's no way Khan will walk down Oxford Street, no way, without getting recognized. If you're talking about Conor Benn, I can't say it's impossible, but I say there's a good chance he could probably get from one end to the next end. Or if you take him into any of the shops, I don't like. If you talk about Specsavers and these kind of places, I can't say nobody will recognize him, but I'd be willing to put money on it. So what I'm saying, and I could embarrass him, I say it's a different level of fame. So when you talk about Conor Benn versus these guys, but there's not Amir Khan, you're talking about someone who brings the big Muslim population. I don't even know what religion Conor Benn is. Yeah, so I'm saying, so it's not, he doesn't bring that background. So, you're asking grown men to, oh, you're scared of another grown, they're not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, I'll get with him. But what I'd say is try and do it a question at a time. So if I wanted to embarrass Eddie Hearn, I'd focus on that one subject. And once I get him to shut up, and when you said that thing about but I'd embarrass him. I'd just say, but I could say the same thing about you, Eddie. Look at the size difference between you and me. I'll say confidently, you wouldn't last 12 rounds with me. And I'll say it to his face on camera. I say, if you come down the gym today and spar me, I'll bet you quit before. I'll bet money you wouldn't go 12 rounds. And if he says he doesn't want to do it, I'll just put it on him. I said, so how are you scared of a man my size? And then what have I achieved? And then you're trying to tell Cotton he's scared of Conor Ben. Like, how old was Conor Ben when these guys were, when Khan was in the, I mean, he would have been a kid. What, 5 years old? I don't know. So yeah. It's got nothing to do with fear. So I won't mention it again. But I just say, if you want to grill Eddie Hearn, I'd say maybe try and do it a question at a time. So I say, just if you can just get that one thing out, like what happened with me and Tommy Fury, it's got a big reaction. So if I could just embarrass Eddie Hearn on that part, yeah, just tell him, like, mate, stop trying to say fighters are scared of fighters. Scared of what? Like saying, I'm scared to go to, I'll go to Ireland tomorrow, or I don't mind going to Germany. I'm not scared to go to Germany, but there's nothing there for me. I went to Scotland for the Josh Taylor press con. I'm not scared. I've been to America. I'll go to Russia or I'll go to Japan. But what's going to happen when I get there? Is there some sort of benefit? Yeah, I could go to Japan tomorrow, but nothing's going to happen. What's the benefit? Well, am I going to meet the Japanese Prime Minister? If I went to see what I'm saying? If it was a thing where, like, who's the most famous person on, I don't know, like Vladimir Putin. If I could get a Vladimir Putin interview, yeah, cool. But is he going to talk to me? Yeah, somehow I doubt it. It's not about being scared. I'd go to a war zone, but he's not going to talk to me, is he? So, yeah, I'm sorry if I've gone on a bit long, but I just say, if you're going to try and grow Eddie Hearn, I'd say, focus on one question at a time. Master that question. And the next time, yeah, but I'm sorry if I've gone on too long, mate.
That's all right. I mean, I always found Eddie Hearn very easy to interview because he's almost like he's just having a chat rather than an interview. I always felt that with him. I mean, that was the only real time that I actually totally disagreed with him. Right there was the whole Dillian White Dominic Brazil situation surrounding the Derek Chisora rematch. That's the fight that he was pushing. That's the only real time that I actually said I totally disagree with that one. But other than that, I mean, Eddie Hearn, I mean, he seems like a cool guy. I said I've interviewed him several times. He is a cool guy. It's just the arrogance thing. That's what irritates me. It's a disrespect.
But I say just take it as a little bit at a time. But look, I'll keep it brief. I've never been like this here. No matter how much I don't think I've ever hated someone. But yeah, sometimes there's people I dislike. But even if I dislike you, I will never ever take away from your achievements. So that's what I'd question. I'd absolutely grill Eddie Hearn on that. I'd say, you're going too far. Fighters are scared of fighters. I'd embarrass him. So I'd say, okay, so let me spar Conor Ben today then. Let me spar Katie Taylor. Let me spar, because if I spar Eddie Hearn, Joshua, Katie Taylor, and Conor Ben, that's going to turn my life around. I'm going to go into him. I said, you realize that you'll be making my life and my family's life a lot easier. It doesn't even have to be me. You could take 10 grand, and I'd say you could take 10, 20 grand and you could donate it to a school, and you could help these people's lives. So I know you've got enough money. You could give £1 million away, but you're not going to do it. It's not that you're scared to do it, but when you're trying to say fighters are scared, but it's not, but you're taking away that. To me, those are disgusting comments but you're diminishing a person's life. It's going too far. Even if I don't like you, I wouldn't do that. If I don't like you, I'll say I don't like you. But it's like to say a fighter's scared. Well, scared of what? All right. So if Conor Ben broke into Amir Khan's house and started punching up his wife, what's Amir Khan gonna? Is he gonna slip out the back? He's gonna call the police. Yeah, my name's Amir Khan. My wife's getting beaten up. How long you guys gonna take? An hour. all right, try and come as soon as you can, yeah, because now Conor Ben's beating up my mum as well. It's like when you say scared, it's not. I'm gonna embarrass it. It's not about being scared. It's like me sparring sporting icons. Look, if you want to spar, I'll spar you, but I'm not. I will never try to bully people, especially someone like you. As far as I'm aware, you don't really box. I won't try to force people that don't box to get in a ring with me. If you want to do it, if you want to have a little move around, cool. But it's not. It's not about me. I'll do it. Like, of course, I've sparred people that are seem much more dangerous than you, but you know, I wouldn't come to Newcastle tomorrow to do it because obviously, you know, it's like if it was David Hay, if David Hay contacted me, it's worth it, isn't it? So it's not about being scared. So I might as well go up to random people on the street. It's not about being scared, but is it a logical situation? Obviously, I'm not going to go up to people on the street, chuck a pair of boxing gloves at them and let's spar. It's silly, isn't it? So that's what I say to him. But that's what you say. Fighters, it's not. It's a job. So with me, I jump from agency to agency. I do warehouse, I do driver's mate, I do labouring. Mate, I'm not scared. I'll just do whatever job pays the most. The one I like is driver's mate. You just get to sit in the van most of the day. You get there, you deliver the furniture, and you just jump in the van, read your book, listen to music. That's the job I like the most. It's not scared. But if you offer me a labouring job, labouring's harder. But if you offer me more money, screw, I'll do it. I mean, so I'm not just so I say just talk, what you do, you unravel the narrative, and that's the problem. He tries to control everything, and what you're saying about the Dylan White situation, you just attack him. Well, not attack you expose him, and you just say if you're doing it for money, I get that, but don't lie to us and say that everyone wants to see that fight when they don't. You know, it's like Fury. Mate, don't tell us Fury's scared of Usyk. He's not scared of what? I jump in the ring with Usyk. Never, you know what I mean? I'm not scared of Usyk, but I mean, if you gave me Usyk's home address and gym address, I wouldn't go there because I don't know if he's going to do it or not. You know, if he knows me, or I'd rather do it in the UK. I don't really want to. It's not the war, but I don't really want to go to Ukraine. It's long. I don't know how to find them. If I could catch him in the UK, if he wants to spar, I'll spar him. But he's saying stuff like Fury ducked Usyk. Oh, ducked him? What do you mean ducked him? Well, do you realize what a fighter goes through? You know how many people I've sparred. So when you say they're scared of fighting, but how many people have you sparred over the years? Usyk's just another guy. I mean, I'm not stupid. That's hopefully the last thing I'll say on the subject. But the reason I'm not scared of Usyk or who's dangerous, Beterbiev. The reason I'm not scared to spar him, obviously, I know I could get hurt, but at the end of the day, there's so many times in my life I could have got hurt, and I'd get in the ring with Beterbiev or Canelo. I say, hopefully, they're going to realize that you've got a novice in front of you, and hopefully, they're not going to take the mick. Hopefully, the people around them are not going to, they're not going to have that intention of taking the mick. I'll take the risk. Like if you tell me sign this, I'll sign it. So, I mean, if I'm willing to do it, I'm not Tyson Fury, am I? You're trying to say Tyson Fury's scared of him. Tyson Fury's getting paid 30 million to fight, isn't he? So just offer him the money. But I've said it's getting boring now. But trust me, I'll embarrass Eddie Hearn on that subject.
Let me say about sparring. The last time I sparred was a few weeks ago, and
Yep.
I realised why I stopped doing it. I was absolutely dying. I was dying. My legs were burning. It was more like a body sparring. And see, I remember as a teenager when I used to do like boxing training and things like that. And I used to love boxing. I used to love all that kind of stuff. I really did. But on one occasion, I got hit in the stomach. I was like, this ain't for me. It ain't for me. I ain't doing this. But I actually like I don't like it. I don't mind getting punched in the face. I don't mind the move around. I don't mind that. But if you catch me in the right place, I don't care. I don't care if you're 5 foot tall. I don't care if you're 6'6". If it hurts me, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, no. So yeah, I quickly realised why I don't like doing it. I watched some of your spars. You're very fast on your feet.
Everyone says that.
Yeah, you're very fast.
Yeah, but look, I mean, everyone's, even you've sparred, and yeah, I've already said it enough. But I just whenever Eddie Hearn, I won't go on this time, but whenever he creates these narratives, you just need people to unravel it. So when you said that thing about the Dylan White, yeah, but I just say to him, but who, what you should try and do? Try and print out the IFL, the comments, and I'd show it to him. I'd say who's saying these things? Like you're making it up. But he does do that. He makes things up, doesn't he? Especially like the Fury Usyk. That's a quick example. Like Fury ducked Usyk. Like give me a break, ducked Usyk. Man, you know how many heavyweights I've been in the ring with? I've sparred Fury, I've sparred Richard Towers, I sparred Larry Olabamiwu. Man, I'll spar Usyk, but I've never met him, have I? So when you say stuff like, yeah, Fury's ducking Usyk, it's not. It's just the fight wasn't there, was it? Okay, how can he fight Usyk when AJ? I mean, I'd embarrass Eddie Hearn. Right? So you're saying Fury ducked Usyk, but then you're saying AJ's desperate to fight him. AJ's activated the rematch clause. So, but it's not possible for Fury to fight him then, is it? It's like with me, I can't get into America. I'm not taking the vaccine. Simple as that. I'm just gonna wait. But if I could get into America, man, I'll go to Canelo's gym. I'll go to all the, but I can't get in. So don't say that I'm scared to go to America. Like, it's not that I'm scared of Canelo. I can't get into America. And even if I get in, unless someone tells me, I don't know where to find him. But when you were saying this thing about Fury Usyk, but then you're contradicting yourself because you said AJ's activated the rematch clause. So I don't I don't understand. So he's rematch. So what can he do? So I mean,
I think that what Eddie is doing there, he's probably just using the wrong word where he's saying scared. I think that
he said like ducking. He said ducked.
Oh, the ducking. Okay. I mean, ducking Alexander Usyk. Fury and Usyk would fight each other in a gym. Okay, they'll fight tonight. They would. But I think when you get to like a certain stage in your career when there's like serious money and you're a world champion, then you're always looking at risk versus reward. Getting there with Usyk, he could legitimately get beat.
He could.
But that happens on the big stage. But I think with like a Fury, you see, I've always been a fan of Fury for a long time, but I've realised lately I don't have time for his lies anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas before I'd be like, he's just joking. It's just Tyson being Tyson. Now I'm like, just quit lying, man. Every time he speaks, I'm questioning if he's lying. So when Eddie Hearn says things like, well, Tyson, he wants to fight Usyk, but not until later on in the year. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me because I don't know when Tyson's telling the truth anymore. But at the same time, as you're saying there, as we were saying earlier on, Eddie Hearn is a promoter. He talks a lot. And to be a good promoter, what do you need to do? You need to be able to lie or at least exaggerate the truth.
No, I think it's bad. I don't think I'll keep my points much shorter, but I just a lot of it is just irrelevant noise. He says a lot, but you're not really saying anything. So when you say Fury wants to fight him later in the year, but why even telling it's irrelevant? But as I say, if you're saying that Joshua's activated the rematch clause, legally Fury can't fight him anyway.
Right.
That's just noise. You're talk. Why are you telling us this? I don't get it. So, what does it have to just? If it was me, just don't. It's not even. Maybe just mention it briefly, but just why are you telling us? But if he's activated the rematch clause, he's got no choice.
You've met Fury, haven't you? You said that you sparred him.
I've sparred him twice. Yeah.
Yeah. He ain't 6'9".
No, I wouldn't say he's. No.
He's a big guy, but he ain't 6'9". He's 6'7", maybe. He ain't 6'9" though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of people in boxing, what you just said about you need to be able to lie and well, no, because a lot of it you're just making noise without saying anything, and a lot of these things that get exaggerated. Who was I met a fighter once. Yeah, they were saying they were like 5'9", which means they're taller than me. But when I met him, I thought, well, I'm much taller than you, so you're not 5'9". So a lot of these, like David Hayes, not that tall. Fury's not. They're not as tall as they say they are. So I think it's like you're making noise without saying anything. The taller you say someone is, oh, sounds good. But like I've met David Hay, like he's not 6'3". I don't think so. Like same with Fury. I'm like, but just why do you need to lie about a person's height? Why exaggerate it? I guess yeah, it's like with Frank Warren. You remember Frank used to say, I don't know if it was Frank or it was someone else. When their fighter beats someone, they'll say he beat someone that's never been stopped. But I don't. What kind of a stupid thing is that to say?
Yeah.
Uh, my,
Well, who did they fight
yeah,
beforehand?
my mum's never been stopped. Well,
Yeah.
so I'm saying, well, if Fury knocked her out, is that something? So it's a lot of noise without saying anything. And like I say, I'm not. This is not against. I'm talking about everyone, but again, I was at the Fury press conference, but you've said all this stuff about Eddie Hearn, but that fight's basically so that press conference was like March the 1st. In less than 2 months, not even that, less than 2 months, you've got this Fury White fight, and you still haven't told us who the undercard are. So if you haven't told us, well, are they even training? Like, what kind of a card is it? I mean, but you're talking about Eddie Hearn though. Eddie Hearn this, Eddie Hearn that. Adam Smith was there. You got you got all these different people. Yeah, I mean, but then you're asking Fury all these questions, but you haven't even told us who the undercard is. If I was a promoter, now I think I'll do a better job than them. I wouldn't. There needs to be more action, not talking.
Hmm. Well,
Okay.
there's a reason why this fight is as popular as what it is. Outside of the fact that it's Fury versus White, of course, we all want to see that fight. That fight's always going to be popular, but it wouldn't be as popular if it wasn't for the fact that Sky Sports have been helping them promote it. If Sky Sports hadn't been pushing it over like the last couple of weeks, I don't think it would be as popular as what it is now.
No, it wouldn't.
And that's one of the things to go back onto Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, he was starting to get to a point where he thought boxing was popular in the UK because of him. He forgot that it's the machine of Sky Sports that played a huge part in that.
Yeah, but I could have told him this. It's just a lot of people in boxing get carried away. I don't even know why he did. I don't know why he even left them anyway. It's bizarre.
Just money, isn't it?
Well, I mean, when you say that, I mean, maybe you've got more knowledge than me. So, are you saying
it's budget? I should say.
What did you say, sir?
It's budget.
Budget.
He was getting more budget, yeah. Which again, that's what he said. So, is it true? I don't know.
I just think it was a dumb decision. I'll keep it short, but I just say, look, a lot of the things on Sky Sports, Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn, like he makes a lot of mistakes though. Like you're not building fires, there's no momentum. Like you're not seeing enough quality matchups on a regular basis. All the fights are behind pay-per-view, and it's a short-term gain. As I said, I walked around Sheffield Shopping Centre with Billy Joe Saunders. 40 minutes? One person recognized him. If you look at Frank Bruno, Nassim Hamed, Chris Eubank, all these sort of guys, they'd never. So it's just common sense. I'd even go. I've said this a few times. I'd even say I'm more intelligent than Eddie and Frank. I'm not saying I'm more knowledgeable, but I've got common sense. Because the thing is, when you've got people that can walk down the street without getting recognized, Katie Taylor, Conor Ben, how many people are going to know who they are? So then, how many people are going to tune into these fights? I mean, Conor Ben versus LG, like these fights shouldn't be on pay-per-view because you're not growing the brand. And like he likes to use a lot of big words, but you're making noise without saying anything. The difference with football, it's going to be a very quick point. Football's on every day. It's like it's all the time. It's trending. So and so have played so and so. So what happens when it comes to the FA League, when it comes to the Premiership or the final? Because you've seen these guys play, it creates momentum. So a lot of people, I wonder who's gonna win. But with a lot of these other fights, like let's just say Calm Brook, but it's been going on for so long, you lose interest. If you take Katie Taylor, how many people? Listen, Amanda Serrano will walk around, and I'd bet money she could walk around the UK for 24 hours straight. I'll probably do it for a month. You're not going to tell me anyone in the UK knows who Amanda Serrano is.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, so it's just common sense. I'm not, it's just logic. So there's no momentum. Same with Tasha Jonas. How many people are going to know who she is? How many people can name exciting fights that they've had? So there's no momentum. So I'd say that's the problem. Yeah, you can jump over to DAZN, but the same thing's going to happen. There's not enough momentum where people are seeing these fights. There's an old saying in this country. I don't watch Coronation Street anymore, but they always used to say this. I look like I've just gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Right. So I'd say, but you're not seeing that in modern boxing. You're not seeing people talk about Katie Taylor's. You're not seeing Katie Taylor on mainstream TV. You're not. So there's no momentum. I could go into a lot more detail, but I won't. And I'll just say that's the problem with boxing. So a lot of these people, yeah, Eddie can talk, but you're surrounded by people like Coogan and so on that are desperate for you. And I've got no problem with any of these people, but to me, they're not as intelligent as me because when you got platforms that big, when you keep interviewing the same Shannon Courtney's 10, 20, 30 times, but it's not really going to do anything. For me, I don't care about it. This is going to be cringeworthy here. These guys are focused on interviewing the Shannon Courtneys and the Isaac Lowe's. All right, keep doing what you're doing. The country I'm from, the president has been in power for 31 years. That's the sort of person I want to interview. I'm not going off point, but what I'm saying, you're surrounded by people, Eddie, you're surrounded by people that are desperate on you for views. I don't care what Eddie Hearn does. If I get banned, I get banned. I'll go to Eritrea, and if I get an interview with the president, or there's things I can do, I fight. There's other stuff I can do which makes me relevant. But you're surrounded by people like Michelle Joy Phelps. That's all they've got going on. So because they're desperate for access, they're not going to tell you these things. They're not going to tell you that you're arrogant. They're not going to just chatting rubbish. I'm not trying to sound tough. I'd be willing to take on Eddie Hearn in a street fight tomorrow. I'll give it a go. I think I could take him. So when you're saying stupid thing, oh, fighters are scared, mate, if I'm willing to fight you, how can you say people like Khan and that's what they've been doing? These are stupid comments. It's like saying Eddie Hearn's scared to talk. It's not that it's like saying he's scared to come on my channel. It's not about being scared. It's about whether it's worth his time. And that's the problem. These people inflate his ego. They don't tell him that he's talking nonsense. They don't. What happened with Harvard Davies? Yeah, you threw the guy under the bus. I mean, to me, that's Eddie Hearn's fault. You've got an emotionally weak person in a heart. I've known Harvard Davies long. I've met him before any of these people. He's emotional. He's got a temper. So then you tell him to go on Twitter and do this, do that. He's emotional. When people say things to him on Twitter, he can't handle it. If I had his kind of money and people insulted me, I'd laugh about it. Yeah, I might buy it back now, but to be honest, I've given up now. I'm going to stop telling people to come see me. I'm not. Ahara's emotional. He needs more support than I do. Obviously, with me, I'd say I need more support in terms of matchmaking because I haven't been training for 10 years. I haven't boxed in 10 years. I need help in that department. But when it comes to talking, you could put me on a top table, no problem. I'll talk more than Eddie Hearn does. But you take a kid like O'Hara who's emotional, you tell him to do send this, tweet that. Then when you got the backlash, then you want to throw him under the bus. O'Hara Davies is younger than me. If I've never heard of the Liverpool, Hillsborough and all that stuff, I read books, I read newspapers. If I've never heard about it, How you asking some kid from the ghetto? How would he know about it? We live in London. Man, I've known Tunde Ajayi since 2007. Yeah, Tunde's never told us about it. No, people in London don't talk about it. I don't live in Liverpool, so maybe people in Liverpool might talk about that football disaster. And yeah, people died. That's sad. But nobody in London talks about it. I know what 9/11 is. I know what the July 2007 bombing. I know that. I know what happened to Jet. But don't ask me about some football. I don't know about that. So you throw him under the bus. You know he didn't know about that. He's young. He's not Spencer Fearon's age. And then these are the sort of mistakes that Eddie Hearn makes. And you're letting people like Tasha Jonas slip through your fingers. Good luck, mate. You know, Fraser Clark's gone over to say, good luck. You know, he just makes so many mistakes and people don't pull him up on it.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I think that the thing with Eddie, I mean, I said, you know, he's a cool guy, but he makes things about himself. He's very self-involved. He likes to be the celebrity.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never watched any of his podcasts, by the way. Not one of them. Have you watched them?
No, not really that interested.
No, same. But I mean, going back to his dad is very approachable, very nice guy, very open. Again, I mean, you know, you can ask him anything. He's not like a really stuck in his ways. But one of the things that I like about Barry Hearn, one of the things I like about Bob Arum, is that they're direct. They don't beat around the bush. They just tell you exactly what it is that they're thinking. With Eddie Hearn, he's always been the salesman. He's been the clown, if you like. That's not a horrible thing for me to call him. It's just that he's put on an act. But I mean, what he's like as a normal person, I have absolutely no idea. I've never had a conversation with him. I sat down, had a drink or anything like that. I've never had anything like that. So I couldn't tell you what kind of person he is away from the camera. I have absolutely no idea. And maybe you have. I don't know.
No, I'll keep it much shorter. I've seen it. I remember I've met Don King once, and Don King, yeah, it was at the 2011, the WBC convention. And then I'll tell you what people in boxing are like. So I met Don King. He had to be in his 80s. Yeah, he looked terrible. So it was at the convention. We've left the convention and he looked terrible. You could see the age. We get in the lift. We go downstairs. Just the energy. He looked old. I'm trying to talk to him. He had his team with him. Yeah, he looked terrible. So we leave in the convention, come down in the lift. Then you come out. It was at the Mandalay Bay. We come out of the lift, and I wish that I'd recorded it. As soon as we come out of the lift, this old-looking man transformed, and all of a sudden, I'm looking. It's like he's tall. He's six. The energy starts shouting at random people, and hey, and I'm like flipping hell. Turned on like that. I'm just following him. I'm following him. His team are with him. Yeah, they're just letting me walk with him. They don't really care. I'm walking with him, and he's, hey, how you doing? He's talking to people. And as soon as we get past the cafes and restaurants and we get to the car park, switched off again. And yeah, I had to leave him alone. Well, they didn't stop me, but yeah, he just got into his car and I thought, and he didn't really want to do an interview, but I saw the energy, came out of nowhere. And that's basically what Eddie Hearn is. He switches on, he switches off. The problem is, though, I get it, he gets it, but a lot of fighters don't really get it. I won't go on, but it's like when Kell Brook did that interview, what did he say? Something like Eddie Hearn didn't have my back and this and that.
Yeah.
Kell Brook doesn't seem to get it, you know, and I've spoken to Kell Brook about it. Yeah, but Eddie Hearn's not your dad. Like, he doesn't give a toss about you. Yeah, he might be charming, and he might even me. I'll use myself as an example. Yeah, a lot of people watching this on my channel, like they seem to think I'm soft. Oh, Michael's soft, he's a wimp, and it doesn't bother me. But the problem is they don't seem to understand I'm much more cold-natured than you think I am. Yeah, I'm soft and I'm polite. I'm soft-spoken and I'm polite. But stuff like if a boxer died, I wouldn't really feel sorry for them and it's the same with me. If I get hurt sparring someone, I wouldn't really feel sorry for myself because it's boxing. You know, you've put yourself in that situation. Take responsibility for yourself. A lot of boxers don't really seem to. They don't seem to understand Eddie Hearn or promote. Oh, Eddie, like Kell Brook was saying. Oh, Eddie, and I thought he was my friend, and this. But how dumb can you get? I mean, I don't understand. He doesn't seem to get. Eddie don't care about you, and yeah, that's the problem that you don't seem to realize. Like Eddie switches it on and switches it off. And as you're saying, he seems to think that he can talk up a card. It could be a rubbish card, but he could, you could have Shannon Courtney versus Ebony Bridges in the main event. And he genuinely believes that just by talking, he can turn it into a big event. And yeah, look, Matchroom have got a core audience. A lot of them, they're going for a night out, aren't they? So yeah, it might work, but the problem he's not getting, you can't talk fighters. Conor Benn's the perfect example. You can't talk fighters to the top. I mean, I don't really rate Conor Benn. I'll tell him to his face. You're not beating Jaron Ennis. You're not beating these. You're not going to beat Terence Crawford. But he thinks he can try and talk Conor Benn that way. And the easiest example, but you're the one. You're saying Khan Booker old man it's a fight nobody cares about. But now you're trying to get Conor Benn to fight them. So I said that's the problem with Eddie. Like you're not consistent. And in boxing, like I just don't see it with Conor Benn. I think he's decent, but he's not. He ain't beating Ennis and Crawford, people like this. But you can't talk him into winning the fight.
Right.
It's like and I think that's his problem. He thinks he can tell us. He thinks he can. It was like this whole White Fury thing. That's a good example. He didn't win the purse bids. I don't blame him, but he seems to think he can blag his way into it. I saw one sort of interview and oh yeah, and it's a mistake for them to not let me. Mate, just shut up. They don't want you there. Or it's a mistake for Warren and they should have me there because I'd get more views up and this and that. Mate, just shut up, leave it. I'll tell him to his face. If I was you, just know when you're not welcome. If you're not willing to invest the money in the fight, and I don't blame you. I don't think they're gonna make the money back, but you know what I mean? Just leave it alone. They're not going to let you into these events, are they? So,
right.
it's like trying
I mean,
to
going back onto the Conor Benn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Eddie Hearn just looks at Conor Benn as the latest project. That's all he is. He's just the latest project. I mean, he's a guy who he's never won the English, never won the British, never won the Commonwealth, never won the European, never beaten anybody in their prime. So what are we supposed to get behind? I mean, I'll get behind him because I like him. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's a little bit over the top. But hopefully he goes on and does things. Hopefully he does fight Terence Crawford one day and hopefully he does beat him. But will he?
No.
I'm not too sure. I don't believe so either. I think if you put him in there with Josh Kelly, I think he'll struggle with Josh Kelly.
Well, Josh Kelly's certainly not going to have any problem hitting him.
Yeah. And we know that Conor Benn ain't great around the whiskers. We've seen him bounce up and down from that. Was it Cedric Paynard? Was that his name?
Yeah, that's the guy.
And that's not a case of, oh, well, that's because he was just getting into boxing. And no. Either you can't take a punch or you can. I don't think you can.
Well, I mean, just if I start talking too much again, just jump in. But all I'll say quickly, I hope it doesn't look as if we're going on Eddie Hearn too much. And look, people have got to give me credit for the things I'm saying about Eddie Hearn because I get on with him very well. So, I mean, logically, I try and say nice things about him. I don't mind him. He's a nice person, but you get carried away. That's the quickest way I can explain it. Yeah, I think Conor Ben's decent, but you're missing too many of the learning fights. The Chris Congos. I think Conor Ben's got problems with movers, and he's not mentally he hasn't got good IQ. What I remember when he boxed that guy, and the guy was moving around too much. I forgot. You remember Conor Ben got angry and he stamped his feet.
Yeah, Adrian Granados.
But I'm like, again, I'll make him look very stupid but this is the problem with a lot of these boxers. They don't know how to cut the ring off, and then you've got trainers that are like Tony Sims and so that are limited. So then these people they don't know how to teach you how to cut the ring off. And I mean, do you really hit that hard? Because if the guy's moving around like that in the last round, you knocked out Algieri, but obviously, from a logical point, in my opinion, I can articulate it better than anybody else. The reason he knocked out Algieri, I would say, because Algieri is distracted by the commentary. His body has gone soft. He hasn't spent as much time training. The reason he knocked him out, his body wasn't able to resist that punch. It was back in the days when he fought Pacquiao, and his body would have been stronger then. But when Conor Ben fought him, obviously he's a certain age. He hasn't. It's not even the age per se, but I'd say he's probably not living the life. If you train in the gym consistently, you're going to get stronger and fitter and sharper. Your legs, your calves, your legs are going to have more muscle. They'll take a punch better. So he might have looked like that against Algieri, but he hasn't knocked everyone out, has he, Conor Ben? So I say, if the guy's moving around the ring like that, then obviously you haven't hurt him that bad. So instead of working with him, develop his power, learn how to cut a ring off, learn how to be patient. Because if you can't hit someone and they're moving around too much, like Pacquiao's done this before, you can't ask the opponent to come here, let me hit you. Why would they do it? That's your responsibility to corner them. Like me, I move around a lot. Listen, I've frustrated a lot of people, yeah, because I move around, but that's not my responsibility. If you can't catch me, then go get a bicycle, learn how to do what I'm doing. So yeah, that's what I say about Conor Ben. We're not going in on him, but who knows? I could be wrong. He might knock Crawford out. But Crawford's a very intellectual, patient guy. I just think he'll make too many mistakes against Crawford. And have you ever been punched the way Crawford's gonna punch you? Well, it could be. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just too much hype, man. It's like with Joshua. It's a quick point, but listen, I know for a fact Joshua's been dropped in sparring before, but why does that matter? Of course you're gonna get dropped. But when you're trying to do all this stupid stuff and Eddie Hearn's trying to cover up these stories, I don't understand. Of course a fighter's gonna get dropped. It's like if I go to work, you don't think sometimes I might accidentally drop something? But when you're trying to make out, Joshua's this and he's that, and okay, well, it didn't help him in the fight against Ruiz, but why are you trying to hide these things? Like Conor Ben's got limited ability. Not saying he can't beat Terence Crawford, but if you're trying to hide all these different, do it if you want, but one day you're gonna get found out,
Well, Eddie knows that Conor Ben isn't close to that yet. If he did, then he'd be fighting Virgil Ortiz. He'd be fighting Boots Ennis. He'd be fighting David Ennisian. But he ain't. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, but look, I won't go on. And if I'm talking, just jump in, yeah. Yeah, but you're a boxing man, so you know these, and I know these things as well. But obviously, a lot of people look, we're not. I don't want to use the word casuals, but a lot of these matchroom fans, there's nothing wrong with being a casual fan, but a lot of them they're just going for a night out, dress up, get the wife or the missus out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is with Eddie Hearn, I'm going to say this to him, you might be able to fool them, but the problem is it's not going to work. Like say Conor Ben, you can convince these people, But when Conor Benn gets in the ring with people, you're not going to convince the opponent. And like I say, I mean, there's so many guys you could fight: Chris Congo, Michael Mickinson, and these sort of people. Obviously, we mentioned Kelly Avanisi, but you know what I mean? We're not stupid. Like, you're avoiding all these people, and yeah, you're avoiding all these people, and then you're trying to tell us Khan is scared, but Khan, when he was that age, he was taking everybody on. Conor Benn's not doing that, you know. So I don't. As I say, I'm not going in on him. I'm just giving you a bit of objective. It's not going to work on me. It's not going to work on yourself, sporting icons. But I said, you're not doing the kid any favors. You're messing his career up. You know what I mean?
Long term, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, do what you want. Same with Conor Benn. And if I see Conor Benn, I mean, I'll put it on him. Like, I mean, Tommy Fury lasted a minute with me. Let's see how long Conor Benn. What was like? But you got to take responsibility for yourself. I've sparred people, but you don't hear me getting carried away. Just sparring. I moved around with Kell Brook. Don't mean anything. So I say same thing with Conor Benn. I mean, you're doing all this yapping. Calm book. I'm like, mate, just go fight somebody. Fight Chris Congo. See what happens there. I mean, I think Chris Congo is a hard fight. I've met both of them. Chris will make him look small. Chris is long, tall, amateur style. He boxes well. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Conor Benn might knock him out, but if he does knock Chris Congo out, you're not going to hear me say anything negative. Like, that's a legitimate win. But you know, go take him on. But you keep yapping about Khan Brook. I could sit here yapping about, yeah, I wanna spar Canelo, and if you don't spar me, I don't know, forget Canelo. I want to spar John Ryder. Or if you don't spar me, you're scared. Yeah, but he's not gonna respond. I'm just not famous enough. You know what I mean? So he just, unless I was to start, I don't know, threatening his wife and family on camera, but no, I'll embarrass myself. I'll destroy my reputation. And that's what I just think, Conor Benn, you just make yourself look silly. Like, you're yapping about Khan. Mate, I met Khan, what year was it? 2009. When he got knocked out by Prescott, everyone thought he was finished. That was 2009. Just to put into context how long he's been around. And that's who you're yapping about. I mean, I'll say this to his face, yeah. Like, if you're obsessed with him, I'll say it to his face. If you want, I'll take you to Khan's gym in Bolton. I've been there before. I said, look, if you're that obsessed with Khan, so I'll take you there and let's buy Khan's book on Amazon. I'll get you his autograph. I'll say it to Conor Benn's face. I mean, if you want, we'll buy a poster. We'll get it signed by Khan. And, you can go home. You can have a poster of Amir Khan over your bed as you sleep. But, I mean, if you're asking the guy to fight you, only Amir Khan knows what he wants to do, but he don't care about you. It's like me calling out Khan. Look, if I approach him in the right manner, so not right now, I'm sure he'll spar me someday. I know him very well. Yeah, but I can't call him out. You know what I mean? That's not, that's what I say about Conor. But, mate, it's not even the fight, yeah. All right, this is the last thing I'll say on this subject. A lot of people don't understand. Look, I'm not trying to show off, but look, it's not even the fight. It's the camp, it's the getting ready for it. It's all the build up and so on. Khan's been through it how many times? He's got his money. That's the only reason. He's had enough. And if you do want him to fight Conor Benn, I mean, but Khan's just been knocked out. How much money? How much is he going to get the money he wants? It's like David Hay said when he fought that his mate just now, or whatever his name was. It's the giving up the diet and the this and that. Fighters charge a lot of money. I mean, but you got people that charge. What's the most ridiculous? I mean, you got people that are selling steaks for $1,000. Like, you know who I'm talking, that Turkish guy.
A steak for $1,000.
Yeah, it's that famous thing. I'll send you the link. That there's a guy called it went viral. Salt Bay.
Okay, I haven't watched that.
I'll send it to you. Let me try and think of another thing. Okay, but I'll give you a more simple example. But when you go to a restaurant or when you go to anything, when you eat a restaurant meal, but the food probably costs, like it doesn't cost that much, but they're going to add on all the extras, aren't they? They're charging you for the service. They're charging you for the chef. They're charging you for the amount of years it's taking the chef to learn.
True.
I'm
True.
saying it's not. So it's not. I'm surprised I have to go into these details, but mate, no one's scared of Conor Ben. But it's not. You order. How can you put a price? Boxers have said it, but it's like, if you're asking me to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can't eat this, can't eat that, dude. It's not. That's what you're having to pay for. And where people are used to making certain purses, what was that? But even with you or with me, would you be willing to go below what you're used to?
Of course not.
But no, I've bored you. I've bored you enough.
That's the thing. I mean, I can give you examples. It's like I've had so many YouTubers offering to fight me and whatever else, and of course, like commenters saying, "Why don't you come down to Liverpool and I'll fight you? Why don't you come down to London and we'll have a fight? Why don't you come?" Like, but you're not bringing anything to the table for me. Why would I do that? And it's the same thing with Kell Brook and Amir Khan. Well, what's Conor Ben bringing to me? He ain't bringing a belt. He's not bringing an impressive resume. So bring me the money. And that's the thing. If you want Amir Khan, if you want Kell Brook to fight Conor Ben, then you're going to have to pay them. They are the A side when it comes to Conor Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a funny old sport. I mean, what made you start doing YouTube anyway?
Well, I'd say you mentioned 2 points there. So the first one, quickest way I'll say it, when you say boxing's a funny old sport, but because so many people have gone by such silly narratives for so long, it's just going to take time to. I just say, look, don't try and do too much at once. But if you just take it a day at a time and you just try to unwind the silliness.
Mm.
So when you mentioned the thing about what you just said about people offering you out, but again, when I say it to Eddie Hearn, last time I ran out of time, I just say, yeah, I'll destroy him, I'll embarrass it. You just got to get rid of that narrative. It's not about being scared. Well, I know a story about Jose Mourinho. He turned up to a matchroom show. I think it was a Joshua fight. Jose Mourinho, ex-manager of Chelsea, he turned up unannounced without a ticket, and they still let him in. They found the ringside place for him. So I mean, but again, I can go on all day. It's nothing to do with fear. But in the case of Jose Mourinho, obviously he's famous, isn't he? That's why he pulled it off. I mean, it's like if a member of the public turned up to a matchroom show and tried doing that, you wouldn't get in. But I mean, I could give you billions of examples. What would happen if David Cameron, the former prime minister, turned up unannounced? You really think he wouldn't get in? You know what I mean? So if you want to go to another level, well, imagine if Barack Obama came to the UK. Imagine if I don't think he would, but if he just randomly wanted to come to a matchroom show, well, you think the security are going to say no to him? So, it's like I could keep giving you billions of examples. It's like a gamble. It's like if I'm going to bet on a fight, I mean, it's not about being scared, but I think logically, when Canelo fought Billy Joe Saunders, I bet every last penny Canelo wins. I wanted to put knockout. I just thought I'm not certain. I thought if you're talking about to win the fight, I'm like 99, 95% sure Canelo's going to win the fight. If you're talking about win by knockout, I say I'm probably about 80%. So I just put just Canelo to win. Now, if you talk about other fights, what's the name? Like Khan Brook, I wasn't really sure who would win, so I just didn't bet. So it's doesn't have to do with fear. It's just common sense. What am I going to gain from it? So, but anyway, I'm going to start exposing people on that. And the other question, what made me start? Well, first person I ever interviewed was Tyson Fury. So yeah, I just kept hearing about him. I interviewed him in July 2010. Yeah, I just got in touch with Frank Maloney and went to the press conference. And my mentality at the moment, I'm not, interviews aren't really that important to me, but I just start trying to unravel a lot of the nonsense. So I just quit like Frank Warren. Like, I haven't really got much of a relationship with him, but if I did, I'll just try and sit him down. I'll just try and say, look, you're an emotional, angry person. And I'll just start trying to chip away, just trying to start undoing a lot of the damage. So that's part of what I want to do right now. Just start trying to explain to people, just start trying to, what do they call it? It's like a lot of the trauma, the psychological issues and people in boxing seem to have, and just like Bob Arum, you're like 90 years old. Like I'll say it to his face, like you're not going to live much longer. And is it, why? I'd have no problem saying it, but I'll just try and say, but you keep talking about Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, just don't worry about Eddie Hearn. Same with Frank. Oh, Eddie did. Why? Why does it matter? I'm a young man. I'm 31. But look, even I'm aware, look, I'm not going to be around forever. So you know what? Yeah, I might mention people every now and then. I might mention people in boxing I don't like, Ty and Booth or Porky or Coogan Cassius. With Coogan, I've met him, we've sorted it out. I might mention you every now and then, but I wouldn't allow it to get in the way of my life, in the way of my business. And that's something a lot of people in boxing don't do that though. Like they spend more time talking about you. But as I say, like you're talking about Eddie Hearn, but you haven't told us who the undercard is. And it's the same with Eddie Hearn. It's like you're telling us, this is the last I'm going to say it. You keep telling us Conor Benn, Khan Booker scared of him. But over the years, because you've said and done so many things to upset Khan and Brook, you've damaged the relationship. But, just go around his house, just sit down with him, talk to him. Do you want to fight Conor Benn? Yes or no? But you haven't got that kind of relationship. And for me, I'm much more intelligent than Eddie Hearn because I won't go on, but that's the relationship I'd want to have with fighters. I'm not going to keep mentioning your name on camera. I just want to have a quick answer. Just, hey, good afternoon. Kell Brook, do you want to fight Conor Benn? Yes or no? And just get to it. Just how much money do you want? 2 million? Okay, I'll pay you 2 million. If he says 5 million, I'm not willing to pay you that much. Let's just leave it alone then. So that's something I want to change about people in boxing. Just stop making it seem more complicated than it is. You keep going around in circles. It's just a waste. And you've got all of us talking about this, talking about that. But take Khan versus Conor Benn. I never see that fight happening. Well, it's not impossible, but why do you want to talk about it? What's the point? That's like me fighting, I don't know. It's like me fighting David Haye. I'd never fight him. If they said to me, take on Jake Paul, I'll fight Jake Paul. I wouldn't fight David Haye though. I don't care how much money you offer me. And if you ask me to take on David Haye, like it's going to be some joke exhibition. I'll do it. If you pay me, I'll take on David Haye, but it's going to be a joke because I'm going to have it written in the contract. David Haye can't hit me with any real punches. So why talk about what's the? Yeah, I'm not a former heavyweight champion. Like if you want to have a little exhibition and move around, I wouldn't fight you though. I'll fight Jake Paul. I'll fight Deji and KSI and hey, I'll fight Tommy Fury. But I wouldn't fight Mike Tyson. I wouldn't fight Roy Jones, and I wouldn't fight David Haye. So what's the point of talking about it? If you want me to spar David Haye, I'll spar him, but I wouldn't take him on an actual fight.
Yeah.
So why waste time talking about things that are? Yeah, come on. It's not realistic. What next? Forget Khan. Amir Khan? How about his dad, Shah? Is he gonna fight Conor Benn's dad? I mean, to me, that's what it's getting to with Eddie. Stop talking about joke fights that are not gonna. Just the age different. I met Muhammad Ali once, so I'm not trying to. Yeah, look, if I was born 40 years ago, yeah, I would have sparred Muhammad Ali. I don't see him saying no, but obviously the age difference is too much. When I met him, I was 19. He was what, around about 70. So it's not really gonna work. What, spar him at that age? I mean, you're talking about joke fights.
Of course. You mentioned about like other YouTubers. Obviously, there's YouTubers that you don't like. What YouTubers do you like? Because I know you interviewed Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He's cool.
Yeah, and all I say, look, I wish everyone well. I know I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I don't like people. I say, but sometimes I don't like the things people say or the things they do. But if I was to actually see you, if you actually come up to me face to face, and this is the mistake people make. Some of the stuff I've said online, when I say it to a person's face, yeah, but I'm not saying I'm gonna punch people like some of these people commenting. What I mean is, if you see me, look, we can have an adult conversation. Because you're online, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're talking about. But if you come and say it to me face to face, we can have an adult conversation. So yeah, that's what I'd say about if I start naming names. You know, I'm not. At the end of the day, we're all people. Do whatever you want. Yeah, sometimes it's people I don't really like the things you say or do, but look, good luck. I'm not going to wish you dead. Do whatever you need to do. You're not a challenge to me, because if I see Roy Jones Jr., I'm going to try and go to his gym. I'm going to try and spar him. I'm the only person who will do that. So, that's my unique selling point. And yeah, the question, who do I like? I wish everyone well. I think Hatman's good. He's objective. He gives very logical points. Boxing Talk with Ade. Let me see, YouTubers. I think you're quite good as well. You're very objective. Like obviously, I know you've said you seem to have some arguments with people. But you're very consistent with the news. The YB's quite funny. I mean,
I keep hearing this guy's name. I've never watched that person.
He does these videos where, you can't really take him too seriously, but he does these videos where, well, some of it is actually quite funny, but he just creates these narratives. And okay, so he was talking about Anthony Joshua, and he was giving some advice to Joshua, and then basically Joshua started doing a few things, like he went to America to look for a trainer. And then the YB's going on about, yeah, Joshua, I know you've been watching my video. But yeah, the way he spoke, it was actually quite funny, I thought. He hasn't been watching your videos, but he hasn't, but it's quite funny. And that's another thing. A lot of these YouTubers, they think people in boxing watch them. I mean, that's something that I definitely, I don't dislike anybody. But I mean, if you actually think millionaires like Eddie and Frank are sitting down watching you, talking in your bedroom, as I've said to people before, then your ego is ridiculous. I've met these people. It's difficult enough to get them to talk to you face to face. And I've had people tell me, "Oh yeah, Eddie, I know you watch my," like, Jesus Christ, man, I struggle to find time. I struggle, and you think Eddie Hearn's sitting down and watching these 2 hour long, people like I love, as much as I love 78 Sports TV. Like, mate, you're doing like these 5-6 hour long group chats, and like some of them actually sitting there talking about, yeah, Eddie, when you watched it, like, gee, good luck. At the time, I might have watched. Yeah, at the time, I wasn't working, got no work, I wasn't studying. Yeah, just I'll watch it. I won't even watch all of it. Just try and jump through it. But as I say, I don't dislike anybody, but I might dislike the things you say and do. Yeah, I think 78 Sports, I've known him a long time. Yeah, who are some of your favorites on YouTube?
Boxing Beats and Rhymes, as you said right there. Hatman, of course. I mean, it's quite a few. I mean, Now, people always say, like, why did I start my YouTube channel? Like, who do I try and be like? I was like, when I started my channel, I didn't watch anybody. So the way that I do the boxing news and things like that isn't because I've watched somebody else and I'm trying to mimic. I never did. And even now, the amount of channels that I'm actually subscribed to, probably 10, maybe 12. I don't watch that much. I really don't. But again, you know, to go back to your point, do you think that Eddie Hearn watches these channels and that, listen, I don't get a chance to watch them. So why would they think that Eddie Hearn watches them? Of course you don't. I mean, he may catch the odd one once in a while he's eating his Sunday dinner. I don't know.
I don't believe that. Yeah, but go on.
No. But I mean, I imagine any kind of videos that Eddie Hearn would probably watch would probably be about 5-minute long ones, 10-minute long ones. I say, he ain't gonna be watching somebody's 5-hour live stream. Of course he ain't. I don't watch those. You don't watch those. But I don't know. I mean, there's no real channels that I dislike. I know there's plenty of channels out there that dislike me because,
yeah.
I mean, I forever get messages. Oh, this channel said this about you. This channel said that about you. This is like, I don't care. To be honest, they can say whatever they want about me. They really can, because they're just one of many. And while they're talking about me, they're just cranking the machine, aren't they?
Yeah, but look, the quickest way I can explain it, because the way I look at life, you can say whatever you want to say about me, but if these other channels were to have a pop at me, at the end of the day, to me, everyone's a person. And then it's like, people have actually said this to me before, like someone was having a go at me on my channel, blah, 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 and there's nothing you can do about it. And I said, well, if I wanted to block you, I would have blocked you by now. But
Yeah.
I'm letting you comment on my videos. It doesn't really bother me. I say, the way I look at it, it's not have to do with whether I can find you or not, because, yeah, he said that. Yeah, and you can't find me. There's nothing you can do about it. A lot of them don't really realize. If I had £50 million, or if I was the biggest gangster in London, it's not about. I haven't got any problem, because if I did, don't you think I'd go after people that I meet in real life? So this is why I think a lot of people are quite dumb. But I was like, I'm 31. I've never had a police caution. I've never been arrested. You know, I had one fight in school, which I lost. I'll admit that. That was just one fight. That's secondary school. I went there for 5 years. It was an all-boys school. That was one fight. You know, I've never got into a fight at work. Sometimes we've had like little spars, like body spars, but I've never beaten up a colleague at work. So yeah, just this thing about other chat, it don't really bother me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Even something as silly as, I love having my hair the way it is. I don't want to get my hair cut. But if you get someone like Mayweather or Holyfield who like being bald, well, that's up to them. You won't get me doing it, but you know, if you've got a negative opinion about me, it's not, you're entitled to it. If you think my videos are rubbish, or yeah, but mate, you're just entitled to it. It's not a problem. And just going back to the Eddie Hearn thing, but it's very concerning that you've got people that have had influential channels. I remember this one guy called Ingram Jones, Bayloric TV. He was very delusional about it, but you're actually putting out content and you're actually telling people that Eddie Hearn and these people care what you have to say, but well, they don't. The way I look at it, it's just, I'll finish off, like, even with me, in the past few days, I got the Kell Brook spot. In the past week, I got the Tommy Fury one. I've got the Deji interview, which has already got 75,000 views. In my opinion, it's only because of coronavirus, but any day now, I'm going to get that one big sparring session or video, or because if I come face to face with Conor Benn, judging from the way people have reacted to the Tommy Fury one, if I come face to face with Conor Benn, that's going to get a massive reaction. I'll tell him all the things that people I've said about him, and I'll tell him to his face. I said, well, I'm not scared of you, Connor. And if you like, I can be very funny when I want. I tell him, I say, if you want to punch me in the face, yeah, don't get brave. I've got my gum shield. I'll come to your gym today. I'd have no problem saying, well, I'm not stupid. I'm not saying I can take it, but it'll just be a very interesting interview to watch. And I'll just tell him, like, look, mate, I'm not, just because you box, don't expect me to talk to you a certain kind of way. And I'm telling you, if I get my hands on a microphone, I was at the Calm Book press conference. I tried to get the microphone, but I was too far away. If I get my hands on a microphone, I'll trust me, So even I'll tell you one of the most killer questions I can ask. I'm going to say to the fighters, I said, I got a question for every single fighter on the top table. I think you're a bunch of mugs and you're getting mugged off. And what I mean by that, when you've got these, there's a hierarchy in boxing. You pick and choose which media get preferential treatment, and I understand that. You pick and choose whoever you want to spar, and I understand that. You pick and choose what cars you want or what you want to spend your money on, and I understand that. The thing I don't understand, and there is, I can go on, you pick and choose which celebrity trainer you want. I'm going to go to Adam Booth and I'm going to become the next David Hay. Never going to happen. Or I'm going to go to Mayweather Senior. I'm going to become the next Mayweather. Never going to happen. But I understand why you do that. But the thing I don't understand, why do you not just sit back there and you just take the same referees and judges that have got a history of corruption? And it will be a killer question. I'll say to them, I'm a genuinely tough person in the sense, when I was 16, I got in the ring with Tunde Ajayi. Or I can keep naming names. Even recently, I got in the ring with Kell Brook. Now, I'm a brave, tough person. If I got robbed, like I'm stating facts, yeah. If I got robbed the way, what's his name, John Ryder did against Callum Smith, or Daniel Jacobs against John Ryder, or Jack Catterall against Josh Taylor. If I got robbed for that kind of money, don't say I'm trying to sound tough, because I was 16 when I got in the ring with Tunde. I'm telling you, for that kind of money, I will hunt these referees and judges down. I'm not talking, I'm being serious.
Of course.
But hear me out. I said, but hear me out. I'm not talking out of emotion. I say this on a microphone, yeah. I read books about Caesar and Napoleon. I wouldn't do it on emotion. I'll wait for the right time. And when I get hold of you, I'm a reasonable man. I'll listen to what you have to say. If it's a close fight, okay. If I think I've been robbed, yeah, I'll put you in hospital. And I say you can call whatever police you want to call or whatever. And I'll say to the fighters, like, I don't mean to go on so long. I'm not saying you have to do what I would do. And that's my opinion. And don't say I'm trying to sound tough, because if I'm willing to try and jump in the ring with pros, don't tell me I'm going to be scared of a fat referee. I think you lot are mugs. Why are you not? I'm not saying you have to go to my extreme. Why are you just accepting it? Why not 5, 6, or 10 of you? Just say, we're going to jump off the show if you don't get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
So all I'm
if you're
saying
a promoter,
briefly,
I mean, if you're a promoter and you genuinely feel that these kind of things are going on in boxing, then give up your boxing board of control license and get a license elsewhere. You don't have to have a British Box Board of Control license.
These promoters are talking rubbish. And the reason I got onto this subject, I respect Adam Smith and I respect Ben Davidson. So not Ben Shalom. But you lot are talking rubbish because you're saying blah, 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 blah. But I don't see enough action. Well, because I've been to press conferences. I don't get the same level of access Coogan does, which is okay. I understand why. But you're given access to these corrupt people. So if you're serious, just say you don't want them on your shows. Exactly. And yeah, the reason I got onto this subject, if you it's only a matter of time before I blow up in British boxing. And the thing with people like Ingram Jones or whoever you want to name, you can say whatever you want to say about me on camera, but unless you're relevant, I don't care. I'm not interested. I'll say it publicly. I want money. I want power. I want fame. I want to fight these other YouTubers. With the smaller ones, physically smaller, on paper, I'm going to win those fights. If you talk about the big ones like Jake Paul, I still think I can beat them, but on paper, those are more dangerous fights. But that's mentally where I'm at. So there's no point in giving me your opinion. Michael, do this, Michael, do that. I'll just do what benefits me. I don't care about people that, you know what I mean? Unless you can benefit me.
What YouTubers would you genuinely fight? As in, like, low-level YouTubers. What YouTubers would you genuinely have a fight with? Not just a muck around spar, a genuine fight.
Anybody that is the demand for. Deji, KSI.
No, I mean like a smaller ones. Because you mentioned about that Ingram Jones. Would you like fight him?
Yeah, if he wanted, but I don't. I think I asked him to spar years ago. He didn't want to do it, so I think it'll be easy, but I don't think he'll do it. I'll just say quickly, I'll fight anybody that's relevant, anybody that wants to do it, you know. But also, I'm not just going to fight someone because I disagree with you. If there's what's the word? If there's demand and you want to do it, cool. You know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree with you. I mean, for me, there's no YouTuber out there that I think, you know what, I really want to punch up. You know what I mean? There isn't anybody, but there's quite a few apparently who want to fight me. And it's amazing how like so many people have like the wrong impression of like who I am. It's like some think I'm Asian, some think that I'm like really old. Some people think I'm like really short, and it's like, if you don't know somebody, why are you saying that you want to fight them?
Just
it's
get
mad.
on with it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I probably better get going. It's late, but yeah, if you want to talk tomorrow, we can.
Okay, man. No worries. Yeah, it's late actually. Yeah. I'll just see what the time is. All right, my man. Well, thanks very much for having me on.
Anytime. Thanks for your time.
All right, take care.